One great man means a great family, a great neighborhood, a better city, community, state, and the world. The question is, if not you, then who? Before you step into the season of marriage and relationship and picking your next partner, another statistic that that we were leaning into as we were doing the research on this, if 60 to 70% of marriages end in divorce, how many breakups typically happen, right? And so you think about, you're in the dating pool and you're like, man, she's beautiful, she's attractive, you pursue her, and then you break up. You do this over and over and over and over again. A big reason why breakups happen in any capacity, it's not necessarily it's one thing more than anything. It's the fact that you're choosing a wrong partner based on not really knowing who you are. And so that's what we're going to touch on in this next section. So this video is directly for the guys in relationship or outside in that single season. You said hoping and scoping?
Scoping and hoping.
Scoping and hoping. So if you're scoping and hoping, if you're on the apps, if you're stepping into the dating field, the first thing that you have to know before you start seeking a partner is who you are as a man. Who are you authentically? What is your vision for your life? Without vision, purpose, plan, and a pursuit of something beautiful and big, a relationship is just going to be a distraction. And I say that because if you don't know who you are, what you're designed to do, what your purpose is, and you think that a relationship is going to solve it for you, you're going to end up putting way too much emphasis on the relationship and push the relationship away.
That's so strong. That's so strong. So many men get into relationships because of their own insignificance.
100%.
They think, if I can get you, if I can be with you, if you and I can build a relationship, the way that you make me feel in those moments helps me feel valuable.
So good.
And if that becomes your journey, you'll start to realize, and some of you may, I've been going through relationship to relationship to relationship, because just like a drug, there's a high and there's a low. There's a high and a low. So in the relationship, out of the relationship, in the relationship, out of the relationship. And that's a vicious cycle to get sucked into. I love that you mentioned this, Aaron. I want every guy to hear this. When it comes to choosing someone to link up with, you have to realize that you attract who you are.
So good.
You attract who you are, which is why it's so important for a man to understand who he is, what his calling is, what his values are, and to get that in place first, and then allow a relationship to happen.
Yes.
Versus just seeking. If you're just seeking a relationship, then you're seeking a feeling.
Yes, so good. That's 100% right. So our core process, number one, vision. You got to know what you want, where you're going, and what a win looks like to you in the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. That's your purpose. That's your vision. Core values, the second piece of it, knowing who you are, what you value, what's most important, what you're willing to die for. Defining your core values allows you to live a life of design rather than a life of default. Most guys operate from default. They don't know what their core values are, so they end up getting a life that they don't want. If you don't define your core values, you end up losing consistently because you don't really know who you are. Third one is your victories, vision, values, victories, stacking consistent wins that build your confidence and your competence so you can take on greater challenges like overcoming your vices and eventually living out your vocation. So first and foremost, knowing who you are, what your core values are, and stepping into the dating world with a very clear picture of what kind of partner is going to help you reach that vision.
I love that. And that's intricate. If men were to grasp that, if you were to grasp that, you can't lose. Even when a relationship goes sour, you still can't lose because who you are isn't shaken.
Yeah.
It's just the absolute truth of it. And what I love, Aaron, we teach this together, but sabotage ends where mastery begins. So if you want to have mastery in a relationship, you first have to master your own domain, the domains that you just mentioned out. If you get those in bed, If you get those in line, then you have a foundation to build a relationship on. A relationship cannot be your foundation.
Yes.
If the relationship is your foundation, everything you put on top of it will crumble.
Yes.
If you understand who you are, you have your vision, you have your values, you have your wins that you're stacking daily, my goodness, you'll probably have, honestly, you would have women coming left and right
knocking down the door.
You know why? Because you're such a rare deal.
Yes.
You're such a rare gem because not that you've got your life perfect, but you have an idea of where you're going and you're consistent. You put a relationship on that foundation.
Yes.
And I almost just step out there. This is not research, just my feeling of you get this in place and you do get in a relationship, you'll probably end up marrying that person. Why? Because of who you are and because of the foundation that you built. You can't lose.
So good. So Dr. Glover, who wrote a book, No More Mr. Nice Guy, did some coaching with him. He describes your pursuit of a relationship should first have 3 layers, like a cake. So imagine you're building a great cake of a life. The bottom layer of the cake is your purpose, who you are, what you want to do. The second layer of the cake, this is your passion, what you're deeply excited about. And the top layer of the cake is the play, what brings you life and joy. And knowing those three things, your purpose, your passion, and your play, allows you then to add the cherry on top of the cake. The cherry is the woman. The cherry is not the foundation of the cake.
No.
She doesn't want to be the whole foundation of the cake. She doesn't want to be all three layers. She doesn't want to be your emotional center, your best friend, and the only thing that you're interested in. She wants to be along with the adventure. She wants to be a part of it, but she is literally the cherry on top of the cake.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's a takeaway.
Makes me
Boom.
hungry.
Mic drop. Walk away.
Boom. One thing I'm doing in this season of singleness is going into the dating world with a very clear picture of the type of partner I'm seeking, what I'm looking for.